What a wonderful story, huh?
Yeah.
So did you learn anything special from this special little story? Yes, Tiara?
Yes, I learned that we should see the beauty in all the colors.
Gerard?
And I learned that you should respect all the different colors.
That's right.
That's excellent. I'm glad that you understood all of that. It's really special. It's very important that we learn as much as we can and appreciate the beauty of all colors.
I'm the winner!
No, you're not. I'm the winner.
Oh, my goodness! Excuse me, storyteller. I'm sorry for the interruption, but these two definitely need to hear the next story.
I couldn't agree with you more, Bunky. Why don't you guys sit down with us? Come on over. Thanks for bringing them by, Bunky.
Okay, I'll see you at the end of the story. Bye.
We'll see you later, Bunky. Is everybody ready for the next story?
Yes!
Okay, the title of the next story is The Gold Fountain, written by Darla Davenport-Powell. You guys ready? Here we go. Once upon a time in the city of Santiago, there lived a king and queen named Antonio and Maria. They were strong, loving parents of two sons, Carlos and Juan. Carlos was 8 years old and Juan was 9. People often thought they were twins. They both had round faces and chubby cheeks. They were the same height and had the same hairstyle. The difference was that Carlos had a tiny mole on his left ear. Juan's mole was on his right ear. Other than that, it was hard to tell them apart. They liked the same things, too. The same toys, the same books, and the same clothes. Carlos and Juan were inseparable. They were always together. They would play together around the gold fountain in their backyard. The fountain was huge. It was made of pure gold, with marble handles on each side. Carlos and Juan used the handles as finish lines as they raced their toy speedboats across the water in the gold fountain. I'm winning, yelled Juan. No, you're not. My boat is gaining on you, said Carlos. But I'm almost up to the finish line. Almost, but not there yet, laughed Carlos as his boat zoomed past his brothers. And the winner is Blue Lighting, shouted Juan. Carlos wrinkled his face and said, Red Thunder. Blue Lighted, shouted Juan. Red Thunder. Okay, boys, that's enough, said Queen Maria, who was watching them from a bedroom window. You both won. But, Mom, mine got to the finish line first, exclaimed Carlos. It did not, said Juan. Did too, screamed Carlos. Queen Maria rushed through the palace doors and headed towards the golden fountain. Boys, stop that. You both finished, so you're both winners, said Queen Maria. But I was first, shouted Carlos. Carlos, in life, there's room enough for more than one winner. Victory is in sharing the prize, said Queen Maria. That's right, echoed Juan. But, Mom, you don't understand. There can only be one winner. Only one first place, Carlos cried. Who made that rule? The Queen asked. Carlos did, replied Juan. Carlos was angry. He did not make the rules. Juan was a sore loser and everybody knew it, even the little gold man at the center of the fountain. If only he could rub him like a genie and make him talk. That was it. He would rub the little gold man on his belly to make him talk. Then his mother would know the truth. Mom, has anyone ever taken the little gold man out of the fountain? Asked Carlos. Indeed not, answered the Queen. His duty is to stand at the center of the fountain and let the water run through his mouth, she added. If we did move him, the water would sprinkle all over the grounds and get us wet. That would be fun, laughed Juan. It would be a mess, said the Queen. Can't we just rub his little tummy? Asked Carlos. He looks so cute. Before his mother could answer, Carlos reached into the fountain and rubbed the little old man's tummy. Nothing happened except he got wet. Carlos, what did I tell you? You and your brother are not to touch the little gold man in the fountain, scolded the Queen. He's there to do his duty. She turned and headed towards the palace. The boys turned to each other. They had an idea. Carlos, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Asked Juan. The boys looked at each other. No, You're thinking what I'm thinking. He looked at the little gold man in the fountain and reached over to rub his tummy. He was careful not to get wet this time. He held the handles with his left hand and rubbed the little man's tummy with his right hand. Juan stood still. Gold man, with your shining face, jump down and tell us who really won the race, sang Carlos. Boom, shaka, boom! That instant, a gray puff of smoke suddenly appeared from nowhere. Juan and Carlos became frightened and held on to each other. They were shaking. The cloud disappeared and out popped the little gold man. He started dancing around the fountain. Boom, shaka, boom, I'm free, I'm free. Boom, shaka, boom, look at me, look at me. Gold man, is it really you? Asked Carlos. Is the sky blue? Laughed the gold man. He talks too, said Juan. Of course I do, laughed the little gold man. Juan looked at Carlos and shook his head. Is anybody else aware that we're talking in rhyme? Asked Juan. Well, guys, why don't I talk and you listen, said the little gold man, who was surely up to something. Boom, shaka, boom. The little gold man had jumped back into the fountain. There was only one way to prove who had actually won the race. He pulled out his magic dust and sprinkled it over the boys. In an instant, the boys began to shrink. They were no taller than toothpicks. What was the little gold man thinking? Juan and Carlos were excited. They were really going to race their speedboats across the water in the gold fountain. No more pretending. They were behind the wheel, and the race was about to begin. Remember the rules. 1 lap around the gold fountain. Stay in your lane and in your boat. And the one who reaches the marble handle first is the winner, said the little gold man. Are you ready? Carlos and Juan nodded yes, too. I'm winning, yelled Juan. Suddenly, there was a loud noise. Smoke was coming from Juan's boat. Carlos looked back and saw his brother crying. So he took out his safety rope and threw it to Juan. Juan grabbed the rope and tied it to his boat. Carlos pulled his brother's boat out of the smoke, and they both crossed the finish line at the same time. Sure enough, just like their mother said, they both were winners. In that very moment, they had their proof. For it was the fountain of truth that they discovered for themselves, true victory. That the prize is not always in winning first place, but in placing your brother's feelings above any race. Boom, shaka, boom! The little gold man had become a statue again, and was back doing his duty at the center of the fountain, while Carlos and Juan had returned to their normal sizes, feeling quite grown up. The end. What a wonderful story. I think that Juan, Carlos, and the little gold man really taught us something very special. Did you two guys learn anything?
I learned that it's not always important to be first.
Really?
That's right, because being first does not necessarily make you a winner.
Well, you're absolutely right. And I'm glad to hear that you learned that lesson. It was very important for Carlos to discover that his brother's safety meant more to him than being first. Hi, Bunky. We're just finishing up here. Hey, where'd you get that great hat?
Oh, this? Oh, I borrowed it from the first story you read.
How'd you do that, Bunky?
I'm the story keeper, so I'm friends with all the people and everything in the story. I know Juan and Carlos and this fine brown felt hat.
Well, it's getting late, everybody. I think you kids should be on your way back to your homes. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you. Goodbye, storyteller.
Goodbye. Hey, Bunky,
Yeah,
how about doing me a little favor?
what's that?
I sure do like that little brown hat you got in your head. You think I could borrow it for a little while?
Sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a nice hat. Thanks a lot, Bunky.
You're welcome.
See you later.
See ya.
kids. I have a special read-along story just for you.
Hello, my name is Naya Powell, and the story I'll be reading for you today is called The Smart Girl, written by Don P. Martin Jackson and illustrated by Albert Denham. It was almost the end of the day at Marshall Elementary School. Little Kendra Phillips was a little nervous as her third-grade teacher passed back the spelling test the class had taken last week. Kendra walked up to the front of the classroom to get her test paper. "Ugh," Kendra gasped. She could not believe her eyes. At the top of the test paper that she thought she did so well on sat the worst grade that Kendra had ever gotten. Miss Fletcher could see how upset Kendra was, so when the last school bell rang, she called Kendra to her desk. "Kendra, you will do better on your next test, okay?" said Miss Fletcher. "Sure I will," Kendra said, not really believing it. At home, Kendra told her parents all about how she studied real hard and still got a bad grade. She showed them the test and gave them the note from Miss Fletcher. They read it together. "I'm just dumb," Kendra cried, "and I never want to go back to school again. Even Miss Fletcher knows how stupid I am." "Miss Fletcher doesn't think you're dumb or stupid. She just thinks that you need a tutor for some extra help," said her father. The next day was Saturday, and Kendra woke up early so she could watch her favorite cartoons. Her mother came into the room and told her to hurry up and get dressed. "Come on, honey," said her father, "or we're going to be late." "Late for what, Daddy?" Kendra asked. She hadn't even eaten breakfast. "For your tutor, sweetheart," answered her father. "Now let's go." A little while later, they were there. They pulled into the driveway of the tiny little house that looked like it was made of cookies and candy. Kendra and her dad walked up to the house and knocked on the door. It looked like a big graham cracker. The door slowly opened, and a tiny little lady dressed all in blue stood before them. "You must be Kendra," said the little blue lady, "and you must be your father." The lady hugged them both. "I'm Miss Betty Baugh," she said, and told Kendra's father to pick her up in about 2 hours. Kendra followed Miss Betty Baugh through the little house into a small room where everything was blue. "Why is everything in here blue, Miss Betty Baugh?" Kendra asked as she ate her blueberry muffin. "Everything in here is not blue," Miss Betty Baugh answered. "Everything in here is yellow." But she didn't want to be rude to Miss Betty Baugh, so she said nothing. Maybe Miss Betty Baugh was right anyway. A few minutes passed, and Kendra finished her muffin. "Kendra," Miss Betty Baugh called, "a few minutes ago you asked me why everything in here was blue, and I told you it was yellow. Do you think it's yellow in here now?" "No, Miss Betty Baugh, I still think it's blue in here," Kendra answered. "Then why did you back down when you knew you were right and I was wrong?" asked Miss Betty Baugh. "Because I was afraid that I was seeing things and it was really yellow." "Do you know what confidence is?" Kendra said, Miss Betty Baugh. "Isn't it something that you need to have inside of you when you're afraid to do something?" Kendra answered. "Very good. You're a smart little girl, Kendra. You just don't know it. Confidence also means believing in yourself, and when it comes to school, you don't have any confidence inside of you," said Miss Betty Baugh. "When you answer a question in class, believe that it's right. Don't change it because you think it might be wrong. Most of the time, your first answer is the right answer. And if you happen to make a mistake, it's okay." A few weeks later, Kendra's grades in school had improved a whole lot. She got the best grades in the class. Whenever her teacher, Miss Fletcher, asked a question, she was the first one with her hand up. And even if she got a wrong answer, she still didn't get upset. She just tried harder the next time. One day at lunch, Kendra heard 2 of her classmates talking in the lunch line. "Kendra Phillips got the best grade on the math and spelling test," said one classmate. "Who's Kendra Phillips?" said the other. The first one answered, "You know Kendra Phillips, the smart girl." Kendra smiled and got her lunch. The end.
Thank you.